All right, market update here on the 4th. Let's go over SPY first. So I still have this as a first wave. This could have been a second wave. We're making our way up, and then we get this move down within 15 minutes, 529.16 to 526.60. Doesn't matter if you're using Elliott wave, any type of technical analysis. When you see a move like this and it bounces, you're ready to short, because this is 100% a impulse move. So right here, I would be like, if this market wasn't so erratic and so many moves that don't make any sense, then I would have been buying puts big time right into supply, retrace the 0.5, 0.68 fib. This should be a perfect setup for bears. And you got an ABC move here. So you have A, B, perfect impulse down, retrace here. This is the way it should go. And I don't know, I'm kind of like, it's kind of frustrating to even do this analysis on smaller time frames, because in the back of my mind, I'm just like, there's like a 50% chance this is just going to go to new highs. And you completely just invalidate any short-term analysis. And that's why I do a lot of spreads in this market now, or I buy shares, because trading on short-term time frames is so erratic now that it doesn't even make sense. It's not really worth it anymore. So I do a lot of spreads, selling options. I'll buy puts, I'll buy calls on higher time frames, farther expiration out. I'll buy shares, because this is like the best setup you're going to get. This is the kind of setup that you want to go short on, and you want to ride it all the way down here to 522. So basically, I'm saying we should go down to 522 tomorrow. This should be headed down to 522. If it makes a new high, then it's probably, who knows, maybe it is a third wave and it's some kind of crazy move. But you can see here, this is definitely not impulse moves. This is just a corrective move. So it is kind of frustrating, but that's what I think. SPY is coming down here. Either way, it doesn't really matter. This would be a second wave down here, over here. Or we'd be in a third wave, we go up here to 535. So SPY looks very bullish to me, but short term, I would lean bearish. And that's really all there is to say about it. It just chopped around all day, and at the end of the day, it moved up, moved down, and then retraced. I still have calls, and I bought a put here, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Are they going to just take it to new highs and completely turn it into just bunk technical analysis on smaller time frames? We will find out. So that is SPY. Tesla, same thing, really chopped around all day. Nothing really new to say here. I bought calls based on option flow at 175, sold them at 177. Rebought at 175. This could come down here, I wouldn't be surprised. It could come up here, wouldn't be surprised. Just really waiting for this to break one way. It looks like it could be a head and shoulders, but this came up higher than this. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. If this comes down to 522, then obviously Tesla might come down here to low 170s. Still looking for that overall move to 240. We have Elon's package here in about 8 days. We'll see what happens. AMD came down to the level I said in the video yesterday. This stock's pretty frustrating too. They introduced their new chip. I know people will say the fundamentals are way overvalued, but just from a TA standpoint. But you know what this probably is? This is probably a second wave or a B wave, and this is probably the A wave here. I've been going back and forth here. I guess I'm just settled on this being 5 waves, because this is retraced and it made a, well, it broke this low right here. If it breaks this low, for sure, it's a second wave or a B wave. And I'm looking potentially down here to 157. And potentially also, it could come all the way down here to 153.48. You have a demand zone here. This is a 4-hour demand. This is daily demand right here. So the 0.61 fib is right here at this gap fill. There's a gap right here. And I've been disregarding it because I didn't think it was going to go down that far. But it could easily come down here to 153 if SPY sells off to 522. So this could go down another 2-3% tomorrow. We zoom in here. It could come down there. Maybe it takes all the way till... No, it should happen tomorrow if it's going to happen. Unless you get something like this. I was thinking that it's possible that tomorrow it does something like this. And then it sells off into Friday. So we'll see what happens. But overall, it did hit demand. It did bounce a little bit into the close, but it's below the 20 and the 50 and the 100 all now. So that is not bullish. This is not bullish now. It's below all those moving averages. So I do have a position still, but I'm going to manage it daily and just see what happens. I still think that there needs to be at least one more move higher, though. Regardless, if you're looking at it like this, or if you're looking at it like this, there needs to be one more move higher. This isn't the structure for it to just break down and go to new lows. So this is probably an overall B wave or an overall second wave. But if it's a B wave, I would want it to last all the way to like June 23rd. So it's probably a second wave. And I know that sounds kind of crazy to people too, but this is probably a second wave. Because if it hits 153, that only took like 7 days. And this is not an ABC move. This is 5 waves now. So we'll see what happens. It's still possible, I guess, WXY, but either way, it's going higher after this. It's just kind of a bump in the road. You're getting these long holders that are going to start doubting it, and then eventually it's going to rip. And I also saw AMD got calls here, a sweep 1.61 million today, 185 strike above the ask at 164, so they're down on their calls as well. So eventually this is going to rip, but today was not the day. Bearish close too, really. So I think it's probably going to fall tomorrow. It should fall tomorrow. CRM, I sold out on position at 239-ish, very top. I was just kind of scaling out of it up here. I only had 100 shares from 232, kind of a light trade there, and I sold out of it completely at 239. My thinking on that was it could go to new highs, but the market looked a little bit shaky in the morning, so I just kind of sold out, and I got kind of lucky because it could have easily gone up here to 242, 244, 245, and been a fifth wave, but instead it fell down here, and I think this can go all the way down here to 222 to 226 now. So all these are kind of lining up for a pullback, I think. This looks like potentially an ABC move. Down to here. So we'll see what happens. If it comes down here, I'll probably buy more again and trade it again. On the hourly, we still have a ways to go. Before we can get to the top here, you have a gap at 270. NVIDIA, I see calls all day on NVIDIA. However, it is grinding up here, and it is, today it was up 1%. I mean, this is getting kind of sketchy here. Let's look at this from the very bottom here. So this is the fourth wave right here. We get 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 right here. let's just see if this makes sense. It's likely right there. Fourth wave right there. Yeah, so we gotta be careful here. AMD being down and then AMD still being up and running is kind of sketchy to me. So I gotta be careful in my long position if you're in that, because who knows? This looks to me like it could be. This could also be a B wave though, but it looks to me like this is the end of the fourth wave. This might be the fifth wave right here. It could also be an extension too. Maybe it pulls back here tomorrow. Let's just say tomorrow potentially it pulls back to like 1,115 and ends up going higher after that. That could happen as well, or this extension. So the setup doesn't really isn't really that bullish in my opinion on SPY. Like I said earlier, I think it should come down here. So you might see some pullbacks tomorrow, even more red tomorrow. And AMD, you got to be careful. NVIDIA looks like it could be close to topping out as well. Yeah, I mean every wave is accounted for in my opinion. So I wouldn't be long NVIDIA that much more unless it extends. So if it comes down here and extends, you never know. It could go up to like 1,500 or 1,300 or something. So NVIDIA, be careful with that one. What else? TLT was moving today. I had some calls from a ways back, and I got out of them. I was down on it, and I got out of them up here. I bought those based on option flow for like October. I went ahead and got out of them just in case. Just to get into the top of the parallel line, it can still be the start of the move higher up here to 104, but I was good with the gains. The dollar, still flat from yesterday, still waiting for that move down. Let's look at like Apple. Apple barely up, nothing really to say about it. Microsoft, 416, okay. So Microsoft, I'm still looking for new highs on Microsoft, so that's a good sign. Maybe NVIDIA will sell off, and Microsoft and Apple and Tesla and all the other tech stocks will carry the torch for a while and let NVIDIA sell off a little bit. NVIDIA is really, really needing a break. I still think Microsoft can go up to 480 potentially for a third wave, and then that would be the top. BA is bouncing. If you watch my videos from a while back, I did have 5 waves come down here. I was a little bit wrong on that. This ended up being a fourth wave right here. It ended up being like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a big fifth wave like that. And now we're bouncing. So I'm looking for the 0.5 fib on a bounce. And the 0.5 fib is a little bit higher than this right here. 207. Maybe there's a, let's see here. Maybe there is a 2 or 3 day demand zone there. There is not. So this is kind of the box I'd be looking for though. If you're long, I'd probably be selling into this box. In my opinion, this is going down lower. I have this as already topped out right here. We'll see. But I have this as a wave 1. I know it seems kind of crazy. It could go higher than that too. It can go all the way to the 0.61, 0.78 fib. So it doesn't have to go all the way to 200 and stop. It can go all the way up here to 240 one more time and still be a valid second wave. But this move off the lows, yeah, this move off the lows looks pretty corrective to me. So maybe you get something like this. You probably need a bigger move than that. You probably need, yeah, it goes there. So you might get something like that on BA for the retrace, but again, I don't think it has enough time or enough power to go to new highs. I think it's just retracing a second wave, and then you're going to be able to buy puts there and make a bunch of money on a fall to way, way lower. Let's go over pizza. I had a question about that. Pizza. So I noticed last week I was looking at the monthly 200. And I actually had this on right here, ADJ, which is adjusted for dividends. So my moving averages were off a little bit. But this finished just below the monthly 200. It's back above it now. So that's really support for me. I think this should be bouncing here soon. But I don't know. This stock just doesn't hardly ever move. You can see here on standard deviations, we're at the very bottom of the range. You have a gap at 57. That's my first target right there. 57 bucks would be my first target. So we'll see what happens with pizza. It is really, really struggling. The RSI was the lowest in the history of the stock. So really it's just waiting for a bounce and just seeing what happens. I have no problem holding this long though. If you look at the balance sheet, like has like a $1.7 billion market cap, and I think they do maybe $1 billion revenue every year. Something crazy. I guess I can look at it real quick. Let's see. So $1.6 billion market cap. Price to sales 0.75. Revenue $2.12 billion. Their positive cash flow. The problem was they had bad growth. So they have a little bit of debt, but their revenue takes care of that. Their cash flowing a little bit. So overall, it's a pretty good investment in my opinion. I don't know why it's not moving at all, why it's not bouncing at all. Domino's is going crazy. So from Elliott Wave perspective, I'm really just waiting for a bounce to see where we're at, because this RSI, okay, RSI was down to 9.75, lowest in history. It's still at 23. So a bounce back, first target is 57 bucks. I think that's really all there is to say. I sold puts on Mara at 17 bucks for July. Got pretty good premium. Got 1,200 bucks on that. What else did I do today? Nothing really. Oh, Palantir. I need to do a video on Palantir. Nice move today. I saw some option flow on Palantir. This could be ready to make the move higher. We'll see. But 1, 2. It could be making that move. This looks to me, this would be a nested move. So this would be 1, 2, and then this would be 1, 2, like that. And then we'd have a fourth wave, and then we'd have a fifth wave higher, potentially to 30 bucks. So Palantir looks really good, but we'll see if it ends up coming back down. Are growth stocks ready to run yet? I don't know. But TLT was taken off today. Dollar's been coming down. Yields. Yields are still pretty high, and it got a pretty big move actually today. From the not really. It's a 3-minute. Never mind. On the daily, they're coming down. So here's my thoughts on rates. Third wave down, pull back, fifth wave down, and then that would be the bottom. So that's going to be amazing for growth stocks when that happens. As far as overall flow, you can see NVIDIA has so many above the ask, so that's why I'm not really bearish on it yet. It has too many above the ask. For the 14th, for the 7th, ARM has a bunch. AMD had one, but ARM is really taking the spotlight right here. I don't know what it did today. Take a look at that. It was actually down too. So this looks pretty corrected to me, though, to be honest. We'll see what happens with ARM. I don't really have it charted that much. And I think that's pretty much it. So tomorrow, I'm expecting SPY to make a 5-wave move down to 522. That is not going to be bearish, though, as long as it holds 518.35. I'm looking for a regular flat, and I'm still looking for this. And then I'd probably be out of everything if I get this. Probably sell everything. I wouldn't see any other reason to be in the market. In equities, if it goes all the way up to 550, 560, I think everything would be pretty overbought, and you'd be looking for a correction into the election. So this is a positive setup overall for going higher, though. We did not break the high, so it's still in play that I could be wrong and this ends up going to new lows, but I think it's probably going to turn into be a flat. If it just goes to new highs, then again, who knows, because this short-term technical analysis is kind of a joke in this market, to be honest. Like, look at that. If that breaks the high, that's going to be really annoying. Anyway, that's it. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, if you like the content. Let me know if there's any stocks you want me to look at, and I'll catch you in the next video.